I am so excited to be sharing these unique DIY Christmas wreaths. Welcome to CreArtive by Nature DIY and Decor. My name is Donna. So I went into my stash and I found that I still had this rope wreath that I picked up from Dollarama. Now, this is part of my viewer choice selection. Terry asked me if I could make some Christmas wreaths using some natural vines that I foraged from the forest. And as well as Marta, she asked if I could do some coastal rustic decor. So I thought I could combine the two and create some unique wreaths. So thank you for those suggestions, ladies. If you're not able to find your own rope wreath, you can make your own with a wreath form and rope, or you could use a grapevine wreath. I am going to be starting this wreath off with a selection of some greenery. These are just trimmed off of some flower bushes that I had in my stash. I picked them up from like Dollar Tree or other dollar stores and craft stores. I'm just laying them out and placing them on the wreath where I like. As you can see, there's a little bit of hot glue left on some of these, so I'm just pulling that off. I like to reuse these pieces over and over again whenever I can. Once you have your layout figured out, you can then start to glue these pieces into place. If you don't have anything like this, you can definitely use whatever you have on hand. All right, so this is a little tip for you. I like to use Dollar Tree's tabletop trees as my greenery for different arrangements. It's really an inexpensive way to use some Christmas greens. You just have to cut them down to size and then glue the pieces into place as you like. I am just going to continue to work here, adding in my Christmas green. That way here it'll tie in that Christmas theme that I am going for. So here we've got it all into place. I'm adding just a little bit of extra glue here and there wherever I feel like things feel a little bit loose. All right, so now for some seashells, and I also have some Christmas baubles in there. I got these, they were in my stash for a very long time. I don't even remember where I got them anymore, but you can pick up shells from dollar stores, craft stores, and online as well. I'll try to do my best to have these things linked in my Amazon affiliate store that's always in my description box below. So I wanted to carry the color from the jute rope down below, so I'm just creating a really casual loopy bow using some jute twine. I also had created some really nice long tails to go with it. I just thought it would look really pretty. So I'm just creating more loops here, and then I'm going to be using a wire to just bind it all together, trim off the wire, and then you can glue it into place. So believe it or not, I have not made much as far as coastal or nautical themed items, so I thought this would be a really great challenge for me to create. So thank you again, Marta, for suggesting this. So I glued the bow in place, and now I'm going to continue to place my shells in the different areas throughout. I like to figure out my placement first before I commit to gluing these into place. I just want to make sure it is all nice and balanced. So of course I am going to be using hot glue yet again to attach all of the shells into place. Feel free to use your favorite adhesive if you know that something else would work well with these shells, but I just wanted this to be quick, so I went with my glue gun. Another nice thing about using hot glue is that I actually find that it peels off really easy, as you saw me do earlier. So if you ever want to redo this wreath, it is easy enough to do. So I have all my shells into place, and I decided I wanted to add these pine cones. I picked them up from Dollar Tree last year. They have kind of like an antique silver or gold look to them, and I thought that they would work really well with the shells. So I'm just clipping them off the garland, and then again, figure out my placement, and then I'll go ahead and use some hot glue to attach them. Now, the end product actually does not show the little silver baubles that I had selected. I'll show you what that looks like here in a moment, but I just felt like it didn't quite work with what the look I was going for. But feel free to add anything you'd like. You could add berries, even maybe a few little florals here and there. The sky's the limit when it comes to making wreaths. So you can see how those little baubles look, and it wasn't quite the look I wanted. I wanted a rustic coastal look, so I removed them all and I just kept with what I had here. Now I went ahead and added just a few more pieces of my Christmas greens here and there, just fill in a few gaps, and then it's ready to be hung on the door or on your wall. I have to say, I really think this turned out great. It is the look I was going for, rustic coastal, and I think it would be great to carry you out through the winter months. Okay, so this is my next wreath. I found this moss wreath from Dollar Tree. I couldn't believe I found it at my local Dollar Tree. So for anybody who may not be able to find these moss wreaths in Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby carries them, so you could check that place out. And a substitute would be a grapevine wreath. So it felt a little flimsy, so I wanted to strengthen it up a little bit by wrapping it with some jute twine. And I also thought that it kind of created a nice rustic look for this wreath that I'm trying to create. So as you can see, as I'm wrapping it, I'm also crossing it over on itself just to create a little bit of interest. So I'm just going to tie it off with a knot, and then we're ready to move on to the next step. I made these primitive style battery operated lights a couple of years ago, and they have been holding up so well. I'll have the tutorial on how I made these linked in the iCards above, in the description box below, as well as in the pinned comments. So you can find that tutorial there. So I removed the batteries for now, as I want to attach this on the inner portion of the wreath. Now I do need to create a hole, so I'm just going to be using a knife along with my scissors, and I'm going to work away on the wreath to create a hole. I just make sure I don't punch the hole all the way through. So as you can see, I'm using my candle to just make sure I get the right size, and I'll just continue to remove any of the insides as I go. Turns out this wreath was actually made out of straw, which I thought was pretty cool. Okay, so I managed to get my hole made, and you can see it right there. And I am going to be using a generous amount of hot glue on the inside of the hole, and then I'll place my candle inside that hole. I just kind of twist it and push it into place until it's set, and then I'll just hold it there until the glue sets enough so I can let it go. Now for the natural rustic part of this. I forged these branches. Again, I'm going to have another video for you if you're interested in foraging. I'm going to have that video linked in the iCards, description box, as well as in the pinned comments for your convenience. So I am just going to figure out my placement yet again and then glue these branches into place. I foraged these from my local forest and I love them. I think they're great with all that lichen on them, and they have a really nice shape to them. You can definitely use some flowers on the bottom or some greenery of some type. Fill in that area any way you'd like. So I am going to have some more videos coming up for you that's going to have some viewer suggestions in them, so stay tuned for those. So once you have your branches in place, you can then go ahead and add some Christmas greens if you'd like. Again, I am using this Dollar Tree tabletop Christmas tree, cutting it down to size, and then I will be gluing those into place. Now, I didn't bother to figure out the placement for these ones. I just kind of stuck them in here and there. I wanted a wild look, but if you aren't sure, then of course, feel free to figure out your placement first and then go ahead and glue them. So I'm just continuing to add the greenery until I get the look that I am happy with. So now I thought I wanted to add a pop of color. I found these pipberry garlands from Dollar Tree. They've carried them the last couple years, so definitely check your store out. So I am just taking a strand, wrapping it around my finger, and then cutting it off. I wanted it to look like a vine of berries that's from the forest. So I thought this would look really, really cool. So I'm just gonna continue to wind some pieces around my finger and cut them off, and then put them into place until I get a look that I'm really happy with and there's enough color dispersed throughout. You can then, of course, use your hot glue and put these into place. Now, the nice thing about these is that they are wire, so you can bend them and curl them around a branch if you'd like. They are great. I actually absolutely love these pipberries. I've got quite a few of the strands. Okay, so now I want to create my hanger. I'm just using jute twine. I folded it in half and created a loop. Pull the loop through the back side through your circle and hook it around, then pull your 2 straight strands through that loop and you've got a nice little hanger. Then I am going to just tie a knot at the top, and I just want that loop big enough so it'll hang on a wreath hook. So once I've got that in place, you can then see how easy it is to replace those batteries, and then it is ready to be hung. I really like the cozy, rustic, and natural look of this wreath. It is perfect for my decor. I am absolutely loving it. I can't wait to hang it up during the Christmas season. So Terry, I want to thank you for your suggestion, as well as Marta. I appreciate it. And to everyone else, just stay tuned. You can see if I use your suggestion in upcoming videos. I want to thank you all so much for being here today, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.